Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're looking at an effect that I've waited to get for a long time since it came out, and that is Pure Psychometry by D. Christopher and the 1914. This is an incredible set and an incredible routine and an incredible set of props that I love, and I have used this in a show on Sunday. So when you're going to be watching this, it's going to be the Sunday past. If you're watching this in a year, then that doesn't matter. But I've used this in a show. It went down extremely well. It played out well. It worked well. And I can't wait to make an in-depth review upon this because I have really horrible eyesight. And I want to give you guys my experience with this product. So let's roll the intro and get straight into the review. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Pure Psychometry. So what is Pure Psychometry? Pure Psychometry is essentially a routine where you're going to hand out 4 bags to the spectators. They're going to put an item that belongs to them in the bag. Someone else is going to bring the items, shuffle the bags, place them on the table. You're going to be blindfolded. You're going to pick up the bags, feel what's inside, take the item, kind of divine what the item is, and tell to who of the 4 spectator it belongs to. That is essentially, in short, what this is. Of course, I cannot perform this to you because we are not in a parlor/stage setting where this is meant to be performed. So I cannot do a performance, but I did pretty much give you the gist of what this is. So let's talk now about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this from the 1914 or from other magic dealers. I've got mine from ALAKAZAM Magic. As always, I buy most of my things from ALAKAZAM Magic, which is why I have a discount code down below if you are so interested. This costs, I believe, $50 US. I know in Canadian this is 77.75, which makes sense. That is around 50 in the conversion. And what you get is this box. So you're gonna get this nice 1914 box. Inside, you're gonna get your instructional link. Let me make sure it is on the top and not on the bottom so that I flash it. Yeah, you're gonna get an instructional link on the top of the box, which is gonna take you, as always with the 1914, in a scroll list of little videos that you're gonna click on, and they're gonna go over the routining, the aspects, different ways to end the routine, what you're getting, the inspiration behind this, etc. And then you're gonna get your props, which are very nice. So first you're gonna get your blindfold, which is like this. The material on this is so good. It's like a velvety material. It is so soft. It is literally incredible. Like, it is such good material. So you're gonna get this red velvety material for your blindfold. You're gonna put this over your eyes. And then you're also going to get your 4 baggies. So these is what the baggies look like. You know, people have opened them. So they have a bit of a harder material inside so it doesn't ruin the objects or anything like that. And on the outside is the same velvety material. They can close super easily. They can open super easily, and they handle super well. The material is also super, super soft. Like, I can't even tell you how soft this is. Like, I would just stay here and massage this bag for the rest of the review if I could. But yeah, they're very soft, very well produced, very beautiful props. The color and everything is absolutely great. So that is what you are getting with your purchase. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about difficulty. So how difficult is this to perform? Well, this is relatively easy to perform. You're just gonna have to know your pattern. You're just gonna have to be good with kind of your mentalism, thinking on your feet. So if someone puts a ring, you're gonna have to be like, okay, you know, a ring in my head means this, this, this. What is very nice is that in the instructional, D. Christopher goes over certain items. So he takes certain items and tells you, if someone were to give me this item, this is how I will interpret it. If someone were to give me this, this is how I will interpret it. So if you've been doing mentalism for a long time, if someone puts a ring or a phone or a wallet or a credit card, you can kind of get a feeling and give a reading based on what that object is and give it to the person. So the bulk of the difficulty here is just going to be able to read what the item is and give a small reading that makes sense to a person, because you just don't want to open the bag, be like, a ring, this is yours, is it not? That's kind of boring, right? So giving a reading, giving a small kind of Q&A style effect here and giving it to the spectator. That's essentially what you want to portray, and the hardest part. The second part is that, of course, they tell you in the ad and everyone tells you that these are marked. So these baggies are marked. And let me tell you that there's two marks. There's one, so if you have really good eyesight, you're going to be able to see that mark. I cannot. Okay? So I don't have, like, as I told you in other reviews where there's blindfolds and things involved, I can barely, like, if you tell me to read what's on the box here in front of me without my glasses, I cannot read it. So I cannot even read to you what it says here. I know it says pure psychometry because I know the effect, but if you were literally to ask me what it says there, I cannot see it. Fully honest, I cannot see it. So that's how bad my eyesight is. And the first marking, I'm not able to see it. However, the second marking, I'm able to see 100% of the time with full confidence and full confidence. I'm able to see that marking so much so that I even did this, as I told you, in a show, and I was able to see everything that I was able to see. It went by super well. So even with really bad eyesight, the second marking is basically foolproof. Like, even if I were able to see the first marking, I wouldn't trust myself using it. I would much rather go for the second one, which is much more direct, much more surefire, and is basically giving you the entire answer that you need. So even if you have bad eyesight, even with the blindfold on, right? And I remove my glasses, so already I'm blind. I put a blindfold on, and even without my glasses and with the blindfold on, I'm able to see the marking on the second kind of way that this was designed. So even if you have bad eyesight, I can tell you that you should be fine using this. Of course, if you use contacts or anything, you'll be fine no matter what, but you are able to see the markings, which is very, very nice. Now, moving on to practicality. So how practical is this? As always, carrying capacity. What do you have to carry around? Just this blindfold and your little baggies. That is all that you have to carry around in order to perform this. So your blindfold and your little bags. So you place this in your carrying case and you're good to go. Of course, we're going to talk about this in a moment. This was designed for stage parlor. This is not a walk around trick or a table hopping trick. So you're not going to place this in your pocket at any point in your life to do this from the pocket. So yeah, you're going to place this. I would just carry this around the way that I carry around. I have my TCC case and I put it in the zip compartment at the top to keep them safe from getting dirty or anything. I just put it in the zip compartment and I'm good to go. So regarding that as well, what is repeatability? You can of course repeat this trick as many times as you want, but of course in a parlor stage show, you're only going to do it once, so it's a non-issue. But if you were to do it again, maybe after the show, if a group of 4 people are like, wow, I really like this, can you do this for us or whatever, you could redo this without any issues, right? But that would never arise. Second of all, what is the inspectability? This can be inspected. I mean, you hand the baggies out to the spectators, they're handling it, they're using it, they're placing things inside. And then once you're revealing it on stage, no one is going to come on stage to inspect it. The blindfold is also fully inspectable. You can hand it out, have it inspected. So everything is technically getting inspected. And afterwards, when the trick is done, no one will really want to inspect anything regarding the bags. I don't think so. And even if they were to take a look and find the secret, I don't know if in their brain it's going to immediately pop if they're not a magician. So yes, these could be inspected without a problem. I wouldn't hand these out as a challenge and be like, look at the bag, inspect the bag, check everything about the bag, right? When I hand them out, I'm just like, here, you take this one, you take this one, you take this one. Nonchalant, like I don't care, like they're unimportant, right? So they could be inspected to some extent, but not fully inspectable if it was like a magician, or if you let them 5 minutes with the bags, they're gonna find a few things and they're gonna like maybe piece something together, right? Moving on to table space, you do not need necessarily a table. You do need something to place these on, right? You don't want to do these on the floor, but you could also have a spectator hold them. So the spectator that mixes the bags, you could have him hold them like in this hand like this, and you just pick it up from his hand. But I would think it's much better if you do have a table. But if you really perform on stage and you have nothing to place things on, then a spectator could hold the bags and you will be okay in that regard, okay? So that is pretty much all I have to say about practicality. This is very practical. I mean, as long as you have your 4 baggies and your blindfold and your routine, you're pretty much good to go. Now let's talk about where to perform. So where would you perform pure psychometry? And as I said, it is stage parlor. You wouldn't do this walk around, table hopping, street performances in a bar or anything like that. This is definitely for parlor and stage. It was designed for that. It was designed to have multiple spectators. It was designed to play big. It was not designed for having just 4 people or maybe 5 people and doing this type of effect. It doesn't make much sense. Also because when I've practiced this with family members, right, they were like, oh, but you already know our items. This is not like, of course I know their items because they're family members. So you don't want to necessarily do this in a small group, because also if you have a small group and you have like one female spectator, 3 men, and you have an earring in there that you can clearly feel is like a pearl earring of a woman, it's not really impressive that you say this is to you, right? So it is good if you have a big audience and it works like that. It's much better in those scenarios. So for parlor and stage, this effect. Now, moving on to the positives and negatives. Now that I've given you an idea of pure psychometry, what are the negatives of this? Well, there's only one negative that I can think of, and that is the ending of the routine. There's different ways that you can end the routine, and a lot of the ways are not as extravagant as you may intuit them to be. So the way that I like to perform this is when I do 2 of the readings, I invite 2 of the spectators back, which is what D. Christopher always does. He invites 2 spectators on stage, the ones that have the other bags, and then you proceed to do kind of a 2-person reading at the same time, but in the bag, so you don't take out the items necessarily. You do in the bag, and then you're like, okay, who does this belong to? Can you hold this? The bag is closed. Can you hold this? The bag is closed. And you tell them, what was the items that you had? And let's say he says a credit card and a wallet. You say credit card, wallet. Can you open up your bag first? What do you have inside? A credit card, which means that you should have, as predetermined, the wallet. Thank you so much. And you send them down, right? If you want to do the classic kind of psychometry plot, whereas you don't ever touch the bag on the table, it is a bit harder, it is a bit more misconstrued, and it will not always work. It is not a surefire method to do it that way, which is why he gives you this 2-spectator kind of way to do it. And I think this is the best way, the most safe way, but for some people, it may not be as impressive as some other psychometry routines that use playing cards or billets or drawings, because those are more easily manageable and kind of, you can play around with them a bit easier and a bit in a more safer space rather than with objects that you don't know what they are, right? So the ending maybe is, I think, kind of the only part where it maybe hits a bit on the downside, but if you play it well and you play it well with the 2 spectators on stage, you are still good. So what are the positives now of pure psychometry? One of the positives is the props that you get are incredible, the instructional video that you get are incredible, the routine is great, performing this is really fun. It's going to help you as a mentalism. It will help you as a mentalist. It's going to help you practice for Q&As or for giving readings. This is a very good practice for doing that, because you're going to get certain objects that you don't necessarily anticipate, and it's going to be really nice to practice you for that. You are able to see the marks even without glasses, even if you have bad eyesight, which is absolutely great. And the baggies are going to last you a very long time, as long as you don't necessarily rip them. You are going to be with these props for an extremely long time. So would I recommend pure psychometry, and what do I give it out of 10? I would recommend pure psychometry. If you're a mentalist and you're looking for a psychometry routine that is different than a drawing, duplication, or a name kind of psychometry routine, then this is for you. If you want to do something for stage parlor that is more than something with billets in your psychometry routine, I think this is the way to go. It is fantastic, and you're going to get a lot of mileage out of it, especially for the price. So what do I give it out of 10? I'm giving pure psychometry a 9 on 10. The only reason this isn't getting higher is because of the ending, kind of different ways. I feel that the ending could possibly, without the good presentation and build up, be a bit lackluster. So you really have to practice that and be good in regards to how you shape up the ending. But nonetheless, 9 on 10, it's a very good product and one well worth your money if you're interested. So having said all of that, I want to thank you everyone for watching. As always, leave a comment down below. If not, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next review. Have a good one.